Hey everyone, so in case you don't know, at the moment we are moving house, and unfortunately during the making of this video one of the cables got knocked. And therefore there was a bit of a buzz on it intermittently. I've done the best I can. I spent a long time trying to edit it so that I don't think I don't think it'll affect your enjoyment of the video. But I just wanted to say apologies in advance for the buzz that appears from time to time. But nevertheless, I think it's a great video. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, here is all of the stuff about the hero's journey and Gods by Sleep Token. I hope you enjoy it. Every story you've ever loved has been based on conflict. It's been based on a fight, not always with fists or swords, but with ideas and desires and maybe even just change itself. The protagonist and the antagonist. And at the centre of that fight are two ancient roles with even more ancient names. So today on Getting Learnt with Glen, we're going to be talking a little bit about the origins of those words and also the origins of the hero's journey and how it somehow relates to Sleep Token. And boy, does it fucking relate to Sleep Token. The terms protagonist and antagonist have origins rooted in Greek theatre. The word protagonist comes from the Greek words, well, pro, meaning first, and agonistes, meaning contestant or actor. So essentially, it is the first character, the first actor that we have, like the main character in a drama. On the other hand, antagonist means anti, which means against, and again, agonistes, which is a character. So it is the character against the main character, the first character. And while the antagonist is often laid out in like Western media as the villain, that's not always the case. The antagonist is simply the character or the force that opposes the protagonist and therefore creates the conflict. And the antagonist can even be an internal battle that the protagonist is having with themselves, a sense of internal conflict. And some of the greatest antagonists of all time have been gods. You see, from the moment the humans first looked up at the sky, we have been arguing with whatever has been looking back. Gods demand obedience and worship, whereas humans desire meaning. The battle between man and gods. And indeed, I am of the camp that believes that we created gods ourselves, which in itself is a whole other psychological, Jungian, just fucking, that's a big conversation. But the battle with gods is about power. It's about fear. We keep asking ourselves, who gets to decide how we live our lives? And as you know, I'm a big advocate of being a free-range human, so I believe that you should live your life exactly how the fuck you want to. Which leads us to the hero's journey. Now, there are two big kind of interpretations in modern literature, and the first is from 1949. In 1949, Joseph Campbell wrote The Hero with 1,000 Faces, and he introduced the idea of a monomyth, a universal pattern that kind of underlies all myths worldwide. And would you believe what he drew inspiration from for all of this? Oh, it's that bloke again. It's Carl Gustav Jung. Now, The Hero with 1,000 Faces wasn't aimed at scriptwriters or TV developers. It wasn't the hero's journey as we think about it in modern media. It was directed at scholars. And Campbell's hero's journey had 17 stages before it was adapted later in the 90s to 12 stages. And then, while developing a film in the 70s, a young George Lucas came across Campbell's works. And in 1977's Star Wars, Lucas pretty much directly uses Campbell's 17-step process to outline the arc of Luke Skywalker's journey. And this was rather the turning point for the hero's journey, or at least it was from Campbell's perspective. It was where myth got changed into blockbuster narrative. And then in 1992, Christopher Vogler adapted Campbell's idea into a 12-step kind of literary, practical storytelling book. In publishing The Writer's Journey and its 3-act, 12-step process, Vogler essentially made like a toolkit for modern storytellers, for modern script writers, and it goes far outside of just writing script. It exists in music, in professional wrestling. It exists everywhere. And in modern media and storytelling, it has now been questioned and adapted, and we have the anti-hero. And so all of these rules aren't necessarily steadfast, but they are still in a metric fuck ton of things that we experience every day. Let's dive into the 3 acts of the hero's journey, the 12 key elements that go into what makes this story arc work over and over again, and maybe most importantly, why it's so important to the story of Sleep Token. So, Act 1 of the hero's journey is about establishing identity. We are in the ordinary world. We meet the protagonist before the story forces growth or change upon them. They're incomplete, but they're comfortable. Life may be boring, but it's familiar, and familiarity feels safe. And so we get to element 1, the ordinary world. We learn who the protagonist is, we learn what they value, and also what they lack, even if they don't know it yet. Crucially, in element 1, there is something ever so slightly out of whack, something out of balance, like a quiet dissatisfaction. Underneath the surface with the protagonist is a lie that they believe about themselves. And element 2 is the first call to adventure. Something disrupts the status quo. There is a moment, a letter arrives or a breakup happens. Maybe a body is found in lots of films. Or in our case, maybe we hear a god speak for the first time. The call to adventure represents the possibility that transformation can happen. But in element 3, there is the refusal of the call. You see, heroes don't always just dive in straight away. Quite often they hesitate. And it's not because they're weak. It's because the journey threatens their identity. So the refusal grounds us emotionally. It tells us that change is going to have a cost. And element 4 of Act 1 is the threshold. The protagonist, they step over a line that they can't step back into. It is the crossing of the line. In Phantom of the Opera, it is
past the point of no return.
We leave familiarity for potential change. And Act 1 rather ends the moment the choice becomes irreversible. So the big question that Act 1 asks us is, who are you before everything changes? Act 2, the longest, darkest, and often most misunderstood act. I've just realised that I'm not only wearing my own merch, but I'm drinking from a cup. We're not doing it now, I will get so lost. So this is where the hero's journey becomes less about adventure and more about like a psychological confrontation. They enter a new world with higher stakes and new rules that they need to learn in order to succeed, although success is far off at this point. Which leads us to element 1, which is essentially the tests they go through, the allies they find along the way, and the enemies that they make. Our hero, our protagonist, is challenged repeatedly. They fail, they adapt, they learn, they fail, they adapt, they learn. It is the beginning of the learning arc. And when the allies appear, they're there to possibly reflect different paths that you could go down. And the enemies emerge as well, not just to threaten, but to embody that opposition. They become the antagonist or antagonists. And then we get to element 2 of Act 2, which is the midpoint. This is normally where there is either a false victory or a false defeat, where we think it's all over. I'm going to take this point to ruin professional wrestling for you for a moment, because actually in wrestling matches there is normally a structure pretty much like this, and although it's changed a lot over the years, if you'd like to know how wrestling works, well, here we go in a minute. First part of the match is called The Shine. That is where the good guy or the babyface beats up the bad guy to show that they are a better wrestler and that good should always overcome evil. Yay, that's great. And then the bad guy will normally do something nefarious, and we get into the longest part of the match, which is called The Heat, where the bad guy beats up the good guy and gets the crowd on their back. It's not about necessarily wanting the good guy to win at this point. The bad guy can be so bad that we just want them to lose. And that leads to Act 3 of the wrestling match, the comeback, where the good guy starts fighting back, and we get something called hope spots, moments where they might, they've almost won, and then something happens, they've almost won, something happens, and we take on that roller coaster and we build and build and build until we get the finish. Now, the finish can go either way. It's not always that the good guy wins, not always that the bad guy wins. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much wrestling. You're welcome. Or sorry if you didn't want it ruined, but come on. So going back to the hero's journey, the midpoint is where we get those moments of false victory. Oh God, it's all over. But it's not, because this is where the story pivots. Because after the midpoint, the cost of failure starts to become personal. This is where the protagonist's external struggle begins to mirror their internal flaws. Because what they believed about themselves at the start is potentially now actively hurting them. The losses start to pile up. The illusions start to fade away. And that is where we get to element 4. The ordeal. This is the symbolic death, and it may be literal, but more often than not, it's the death of ego, the death of innocence, or the death of one's old self. Are you seeing where I'm going with this now? The hero has to confront the core fear that they've been running from. And so, in essence, Act 2 asks the question, what has to die for you to change? Act 3 is the world after transformation. And it's not about victory. It is, in a very Jungian perspective again, about integration. The protagonist emerges from the ordeal transformed, but transformation alone isn't enough. It has to be tested. And so to element 1, which is the reward. The hero gains something from the ordeal, whether it be knowledge or power or truth or self-acceptance or self-awareness even, which leads to element 2, the road back. You see, the consequences all start arriving. The antagonist has to make a final stand. The world that the protagonist knows pushes back against the hero's change. It is the final big pressure, the final big test, which leads to element 3, the climax. See, here, the hero faces the antagonist one final time, but they have a new understanding. They don't fight the same way that they did in Act 1. They know different things now. They've learned more things. They've been on the journey, and now they're going to come back and they're going to fight that demon, that monster, that internal battle, whatever it is. And ultimately, the victory doesn't come from strength or brawn. It comes from a new alignment. They understand better now who they actually are. And so the final element is the return with the elixir. They return to the world that they left behind, but they no longer belong to it in the same way. They bring something back with them, whether it be wisdom or healing or a new truth, even just a new way of being. The world, the baseline that we started with in Act 1 is changed because the protagonist has changed. So Act 3 rather asks us, who are you now and what are you going to give back? And the reason why this structure endures, the reason why the 3-act play of the hero's journey survives across centuries and genres, it isn't laziness, because we experience life in arcs, sometimes in cycles, if you like. So no matter how fantastical the story might be, that feeling always remains true. It feels true. Because the hero's journey isn't really about heroes. It's about becoming someone you couldn't be at the start. It's about becoming someone that is unrecognizable to your new self from Act 1. And it's about surviving the cost of that transformation. Once you start to understand that, you see that it is fucking everywhere. I don't think in the musical theatre production there is Sleep Token, actually, that Sleep is the true villain at all. Maybe sometimes villainous, but not necessarily the antagonist. In classical storytelling terms, Vessel is the protagonist. He is our hero. He leads us on the journey. He is the first character, the first actor. Vessel begins fragmented. He crosses thresholds through devotion. He descends repeatedly, and then he gets broken and reshaped and then reoffered to the world. But I'm not sure that Sleep is the antagonist at all here. And I can understand why it gets confused, because Sleep almost like demands worship at times. At least we're told that, right? Sleep consumes Vessel. And ultimately, Sleep kind of destabilizes Vessel's sense of self. But narratively, Sleep is not the antagonist. Sleep is the call to adventure. Sleep pulls Vessel forward, even when it destroys him in a way. But the true potential antagonist in Sleep Token could be Vessel's ego. Through fear, through the ego, through illusion, even from self-destructive devotion. And this is why Sleep Token can feel so intense from a storytelling perspective, because we get Vessel, the classical protagonist, and then we get a god who offers transcendence, who offers, literally in the interviews, offers glory and magnificence, but never once does Sleep guarantee survival. And then potentially we have, like the hero's journey, an antagonist that lives inside the protagonist. And all of this is why I often go to great lengths to say that I don't think that Sleep is the archetypal villain in this. So, although this video is already going to be 8 fucking hours long, let's take the framework from the hero's journey and let's drop it on the trilogy of trauma. That would mean that the first album, Sundowning, is Act 1, the setup. Themes of seduction and worship and awakening that may have happened even in EP 1 and 2. Songs like The Night Does Not Belong to God and Levitate kind of establish a world where meaning is missing, but it's longed for. We establish the real world, the baseline. And then Sleep enters not as a threat, but as a promise, as a call to adventure. Vessel is offered belonging, a sense of purpose. And then there's hesitation, there's refusal that maybe, I don't want to get too close, like dark signs, take aim, could be interpreted as exactly that, the hesitation of the hero to really take the leap. And remember, everything I'm saying could be bollocks. Maybe this is the ego. Maybe this is Vessel's ego mistaking the rumblings underneath, mistaking the self or mistaking the shadow for a god to be obeyed. And so, Act 2, this place will become your tomb, potentially. This is where we test the threshold, because this is where Vessel is now fully in Sleep's domain. They are in the lion's den. There's even a sonic shift in the music. It's more dense, it's heavier, it feels submerged. We are literally being dragged under into the test. And the water imagery in this album isn't subtle in the slightest, but it is a reminder that as you descend lower and lower, that the unconscious has teeth to bite with. Unfortunately for Vessel, he's alone. There are no allies here, there are only fractures. There is compulsion, emotional addiction, repetition with no resolution. But the enemy isn't sleep, the enemy is the loss of agency. And then the ordeal begins to slow. It becomes dread, literally dreadful. Vessel knows at this point that something has to break. He just doesn't know who's going to break first. This isn't our protagonist Vessel dying for sleep. It is Vessel disappearing into sleep. Which leads us to Act 3, the return. Literally, take me back to Eden. And while there is rage here, it is good rage. It is essential rage. There is clarity to this rage. And there is a reward. And the reward, I believe, is self-awareness. You've got me in a chokehold. I am now aware of exactly who I am at this point in my life. Because the anger, the rage is healthy here. It means the ego is reforming, or maybe a sense of individuation is happening. And then songs like Ascensionism, Take Me Back to Eden, Euclid even, they mark that the transformation is happening or has already happened. This isn't a triumphant victory, though. It's not a fantastic, party with balloons and well done, you made it to Eden. This is survival, scarred survival. And perhaps the resurrection is the reclamation of selfhood. See, when Vessel returns, when the hero returns, when the protagonist returns with the elixir, it's not freedom from sleep. It's freedom with the knowledge of sleep. Like where Sarah goes back to the bedroom at the end of Labyrinth.
You have no power over me. You have no power over me.
She's looked Jareth in the eyes. She can know him now. She can name him now. And in the same way, once Vessel can name the gods, then the god no longer has power over him. Perhaps that's why they potentially fight together even in Arcadia. And again, could all be bollocks, but it does work almost disturbingly well, because Sleep Token's story isn't about defeating a monster. Sleep Token's about trauma bonding and the seduction of meaning, and about confusing oneself with salvation. And that is exactly what Carl Jung warned about. When archetypes aren't integrated, they're worshipped. I fucking love this band. What other fucking band has got me sat here? I've got notes fucking everywhere, all about this. Just brilliant. It's just brilliant. And again, could all be bollocks. But I don't care, because I'm really enjoying myself, and I hope you are as well, on this journey that this band is taking us on. We've got to listen to the fucking music now. We'll get into all that in a minute when we break down the music and the lyrics. But first, let's take a look at the sigils alongside gods from Sundowning. So, as you guys know, I've been going through this wonderful article that is available. All of the links are in the description below this video. But I think the work that the author has done on this is all freeware. This is all made by fans of Sleep Token. But I always think it's interesting to have a little dive into it before we get to the music videos, or the visualizer, and indeed the song. So we've had, I have to say, before this, it's all been pretty symmetrical. We've been symmetrical for a little while, and then all of a sudden we get properly disjointed in God. So let's go through the things that I'm talking about will be highlighted in green. By the way, those are the ones I'm going to talk about individually. So number one over here is Deadhead. I'm going to read the author's notes here. Yeah, we're really surprised. We're really going to even pretend to be surprised here. The other term for this is worthless remains. It's that fucking... Well, I'm all in on that. It's the epitome of decline and decay, and consists of the residue left from sublimation or distillation. There's a certain delightful irony here that it became very popular as a pigment for painting religious figures' robes and earned the name cardinal purple. There are other ways this symbol is used. A materia prima feel worth mentioning. Honestly, prime matter, I think I agree with this, might be the primary use of it in this sigil, but I'm calling it as Deadhead for the vibes. For the vibes. Number two is salt. Singular symbols mirroring one another and flipped vertically. If you piece the two together back to back, then I haven't the faintest clue what they could be. The closest I could find to that symbol isn't exactly related to alchemy, but then again, we've been shuffling around between the proto-scientific and spiritualistic sides of it anyway, and is related to Jesus Christ. So a similar symbol is used for to pour, but it typically has an extra squiggly bit. There's also an uncommon night variation that can be made from putting the two together, but you will need to chop the bottom half off at the intersection. So I'm disinclined, lovely words, to say that's a possibility for now. Number three is gem salt. Why would there be two salts? The difference is between crystallized salt and mined salt. This one looks clear, but gestures to the extras. Yes, I realise I didn't highlight the triangle, and that's 100% because it confuses me. The positioning, the skewed angle, I don't feel comfortable calling it an element symbol, but I also have no guesses what else it might be. This one is so simple that it has to be deceptive, and I know I'm missing things. The hunt continues. The triangle is, of course, the triangle in the background here, which triangle, when not off center, can mean fire. But indeed, the confusion continues. So we are just past the midpoint in Sleep Token's 2019 album, Sundowning. It's rather got a little bit nicey, catchy, Vessi over the last two songs, and I will talk about from what perspective potentially this song can be performed from, whether it be Vessel, whether it be Sleep, whether it be a god or a man, but somebody's pissed, and listen, if you've never heard this song before, don't expect a long intro. You ain't getting one. We're straight into the fucking nasty stuff. So, from 2019 Sundowning, this is Gods. Expansive. Squidding spray. This is so on the limiter. Oh, put down the octave now on the guitar. It's so dirty. Bloody hell, no Liam again. All right, so let's get down to two very important things about this song straight off the bat. One, only the second time, I believe, at this point in the chronology, the discography of Sleep Token, that we've heard Vessel swear. He swears when he says, let's fuck her up in Nazareth, and then we get in the second line of this, my fucking form is but a wreck. Oh, come on! So that's the first interesting little note about this. But the other thing, and I know that this is a bone of contention for a lot of people. I say bone of contention, like fucking hell, like their live shows aren't already incredible. But this has, as far as my knowledge, never been performed live. And in my opinion, there is a very real reason for that. Now, on the last tour, I believe they performed Vor a few times before it was taken off the set list. Now, I don't think, and I've said that when I move into the new place and I get the new studio, once everything's set up, maybe on Twitch, I will try and recreate this live. I'd love to do, because God's never been performed live, so, you know, I reckon I'll give it a good go. But it is so on the limiter. Now, I've spoken about this on videos on TikTok before, and indeed on YouTube as well. When something is on the limiter, it means that the vocal performance likely that you gave in the studio, you will never be able to replicate live. And there is a very, very like healthy fucking vocal reason for this. He's not using vocal technique in this. In fact, I'm going to play you in a second just a clip of the isolated vocals. This is pure 100% vocal desperation. This is both barrels at once and no looking back. This is a week of voice rest after we finished this fucking vocal take. I don't think that it's in anybody's interests for this vocal take, this vocal lack of technique. I can say that as a voice coach respectfully as well. There is no way to create that desperation, and that's why it sounds so enormous, because it isn't about technique. This isn't about doing it the right way. This is about, I've got fucking something to say, and I'm going to say it in the most visceral, vicious, aggressive way I can. So, like I say, probably best it hasn't been performed live, so that, you know, we still have a man behind a mask with the voice. Now, I'm laughing because I think that the way he says two is deliberately with two, and he falls off into that vocal, that speech, like pattern. He uses a much more speak-sing quality on the joke's on me, and I'm laughing too. And this is something that I find interesting as well. I've written down past here, because Vessel flip-flops in this song between using what I would call like an American voicing and British voicing of certain words. For example, I'm from Newcastle, so I say past. It makes no odds to me, just like my American chums say past. But he, as a southerner, at least from all I can ascertain in his rather lovely use of received pronunciation sometimes when he's singing, is from the south, and so it would be laughing and past. And he flip-flops between them, because when I listened to the isolated vocals, I was like, he doesn't say fucking laughing at all. He says laughing. Also, there is a wonderful like filter on this as well that takes out a lot of the bottom end and makes it sound really aggressive. Let's listen to the isolated vocals for a second. Oh, by the way, if you do like isolated vocals like this, I'm currently doing a companion series. We've made it to sundowning, so this week there'll be more isolated vocal videos going out on YouTube. You're already here. You fucking know that already. Don't know why I'm telling you. But yeah, cheers. Thanks for those of you who've watched them.
Take it says no more take the blind wave. No more smiling faces. I come alone again. You wanna talk? You wanna talk? No.
I'm going to talk about that undulation in a second.
Cause the jokes are meant and I'm laughing too.
Right, okay, look, the joke's on me and I'm laughing too. All right, I get it. All right, I get it if you're not British. I get it. So one of the reasons that, as a professional voice coach, that I can tell that this is right on the limiter is that it loses some of its tuning. Okay, so when one does a tuned scream, think as Chester Bennington as being a prime example of one of the most beautiful. He could belt a scream while having the support underneath, the note supporting, as well as the distortion over the top. This, fuck the notes. The notes are thrown out the window for the emotion. And when you get to the very top of those screams, and he does sometimes build them in like a no more smiling faces, and we get all the way up there. Now mine's probably a little bit more like tuneful, although I probably blew the arse out of you there. Apologies. I can't, nor am I going to go all 100% all in there, because when you get to those top notes, you can hear that it's almost like a scream that goes up and down. You know, when you're so emotionally connected to someone, you're screaming that your voice will break. And you can hear the breaks, the undulations as he gets to the top of his like screaming range. Like just there is no more breath support. There's no more muscle support. There's no more diaphragmatic support. It's constricted and it's visceral. It's pure. He's spitting venom. And when he gets to the top, I don't know if I can recreate it. It goes, ah! It's just so it's going to break. Like something's got to break. But that's rather what I think this song is about as well, but we'll get to that in a minute. And of course, the song itself isn't entirely just all screaming and piss and vinegar. It's beautiful at times as well, like we get in this, I don't know when from the heavens. It's a little bit Robert Smith from The Cure at times, where it's almost deliberately not always the notes, the actual fucking fly shit on toilet paper that we play on the piano. That there is. It's lent more to the physical, the emotional side rather than the mathematical and scientific side of music. It feels like that it is like a coiled spring. Now we got the richer established harmonies. The visualizer literally giving us that like tension. Tearing me asunder beside you. The oscillation. Oh, it's so nasty. It's so nasty and it's so brilliant at the very beginning as well that it just comes out of fucking nowhere. That's the perfect way to start it, isn't it? With that fucking explosion, because that's how it feels. There have been niceties. There's been something potentially terrible asked of Vessel that now he is on his own, on the hero's journey with no allies or no other vessels apart from his three mates. The one who loves paradiddles, the one who loves high kicks, and the one who can scream his tits off. So having now made the journey into sundowning and having had songs like Higher and Levitate where there's this fears and maybe this confrontation, then it's all got really nice recently between, well, I say really nice as much as a fucking psychopathic relationship like this could be. Take Aim had nice qualities to it. Give had nice qualities to it. But if we're going to look at this from Vessel's perspective, and I'm going to dive into the lyrics in a moment, I think that you can either take this is from Vessel or this is from Sleep. I'm inclined to think at this point that this is Vessel fucking snapping back. This is don't cajole me. You've said all the nice things. You've said all the things you should have said. Now it's my fucking turn to say something. And I think the best way to illustrate that is to dive into the lyrics. So let's do it. So if you've never watched one of my videos before, I always like to try and pull the lyrics out of the song, or indeed just the frenetic screaming that the Vessel has done, the man behind the mask rather, has done playing the character of Vessel, or at least we believe playing the character, because that's always something interesting as well. When we talk about Vessel, he has given himself that name, right? So, I don't know why I did that. Would have been perfectly fine there. So we rather colloquially say Vessel is singing this. And yes, we refer to Vessel on stage, but that's a character. So this could be Sleep. It could be Sleep. But anyway, let's just read it now from in the perspective of Vessel, again, trying to pull it out of the melodic construction and the musical syntax. So, I see the gods avert their gaze from me. My fucking form is but a wreck beneath them. And there are always people I can count on. It's all so easy for me. No more taking chances. No more teeth to bite with. No more smiling faces. I am alone again. So let's break that down to start with, because there's not a huge amount of lyrics in this song. So let's have a little dive. I see the gods avert their gaze from me. So in worshipping this deity called sleep, in this imbalanced relationship, where at this point one can believe, if one is going to dive into the potential lore based on the songs thus far and the interviews, that Vessel has been promised something, and up till this point, he's kept his word. He's been doing all the nasty things. He's been worshipping. He's been, indeed, if you want to look at it like an imbalanced relationship, listen, he's been laying down that good pipe, but he's not getting much in return. He certainly hasn't had glory and magnificence yet. And so one can imagine that he goes to the other gods, like, looks up going, well, are any of you going to fucking help me? Because this one's a fucking nightmare. But no, they avert their gaze. No, this is on you, son. You're on your own here. And he acknowledges the self-awareness of my fucking form. But I like that he doesn't say body. This isn't my body. This isn't, it is my form. Because we can present ourselves in different forms. Indeed, many people believe, that we have a soul, and it will, project onto different forms over the different points in history. Indeed, if you believe in Buddhism, some of the works there. But my fucking form is but a wreck beneath them. So it's very much, we are laying it out nice and easy. They're up there, I'm down here. They avert their gaze from me. I'm on my own here, and this is where it gets a little bit, for the first time, I don't say tongue in cheek, but Vessel kind of does. Yeah. Oh, there are always people that I can count on. You motherfuckers, all of you up there. It's all right. You're gods. Yeah, there's loads of people I can count on. No, I've got no fucking allies right now. I've got these blokes in masks, and what they're going to do? Bash you with their bass? He probably would, actually. It becomes so like, yeah. It's also easy for me, you dicks. And then these lyrics could be interpreted, in my opinion, if Vessel was singing them from two ways. No more taking chances. No more teeth to bite with, no more smiling faces, I am alone again. Now, that could be a projection of how he's feeling. Fuck me, nobody's taking a chance on me. Nobody's sinking their teeth into me, even if I want that. Nobody's smiling at me, I'm fucked. But also, it could be in retaliation. It could be, you don't, no, I'm not taking any more chances on you. I'm not fucking, no. I'm impotent, my teeth have been removed. I'm just going to gum you a bit. Again, might be nice. No more smiling faces. Fuck you. I'm not playing the game anymore, because here I am, alone again. And then this feels very pointed. It feels like an argument at 2 a.m. after you've had one too many whiskeys. You want to talk? You want to talk it out? Because the joke's on me, and I'm laughing too. You want to watch me beg? Because I beg so well. I'll talk about the words that I'm missing here. It's all so easy for me. So you want to talk? Oh, now you want to be nicey. Now you want to talk it out. You want to talk it out? Okay, sure. Because the joke's on me, right? And just fuck my drag. Just joke's on me too, right? I'll just laugh along. Got nothing. No glory and magnificence. Giving everything and getting nothing in return. And you want to watch me beg? Oh, because I beg so well, right? Like, I know the things that turn you on. I know the things that you want me to do for you. I know the things that make you the partner, the deity, whomever Vessel is worshipping in this moment, or the man behind the mask is alluding to worshipping. It's all so easy for me. That's such an interesting. I'd be interested to see in the comments what people think about that line. It's also easy for me, whether or not it is, we'll get to the perspective of sleep in a moment. But from Vessel's perspective in particular, I'd be very interested to hear what people think. And do you like the way it feels? Well, we're going to get some like that coming up later on as well, but I don't think that's from the perspective of Vessel. And do you like the way it feels? Now, this is the sung part, so it has slightly more, I'm going to use the word romance, even though it's not technically correct, but it feels much more romantic than somebody screaming in your fucking face. And do you like the way it feels? Like fire from the heavens, carving past the surface into you. And do you like the way it feels? Like fire from the heavens, tearing me asunder beside you. Just go down there. And that's it. That's essentially the entire lyrical construction of this song. Can I play devil's advocate for a moment and say, even if the first two verses were from the perspective of Vessel, can we see an argument that if we were just going to look at this from, if you like, one perspective, that perspective is that this could potentially be a duet? That maybe this is the voice of sleep. Do you like the way it feels? Because listen, we're going to have. Well, I was going to say we have previous. This is the previous when we get to stuff later on. Do you like the way it feels? Like fire from the heavens, carving. We've had carving. We've just had carving in fucking Give. Carving past the surface into you. Again, that kind of allusion to when one carves past the surface into you, one has to break skin open. Again, I'm not going to get too deep into that. You can interpret that how you like. And do you like the way it feels? The repetition of line 1 into line 4 again, like fire from the heavens, a repetition of line 2 into line 5, tearing me asunder. Tearing me asunder, breaking me apart beside you. Now that's curious, isn't it? Isn't it like we're lying in a bed together, like it's being whispered in our ear? And do you like the way it feels? Like fire from the heavens moving into you, going into you, carving past the surface into you, whether you might want to interpret that in a different way. The second time, tearing me asunder beside you. Tearing me asunder. Now, if that's from the perspective of sleep, that is surely then another reach into, no, I'm still here. No, it's tearing me apart as well. Actually, fuck it. Let's just look at the whole thing from the perspective of sleep, because we can understand, I think, that verse. From Vessel's perspective, I think, can't we? Do you like the way it feels, like fire from the heavens, carving past the surface into you? And do you like the way it feels, like fire from the heavens, tearing me asunder beside you? Do you really like this? Do you like the torture you're putting me through? Do you like? Is this? Are you getting off on this? Like, is this what you want? So yeah, fuck it. Let's think about it all from Sleep's perspective. Imagine now, I see the gods avert their gaze from me. My fucking form is but a wreck beneath them. We were led to believe in interviews that potentially that Sleep was a god that had fallen out of favor with other gods and needed to explore, or rather, regain their magnificence by having these vessels. As we have now, the singular vessel to bring them back to their former glory. So, from Sleep's perspective, I see the gods avert their gaze from me. Oh yeah, I forgot. You kicked me out the gang, didn't you, dickheads? Sorry, I forgot I wasn't one of you lot now. No, it's all right. I'll just sit at the kids' table. Don't worry. I'll sit at the kids' table when you all have your banquet. I see the gods avert their gaze from me. My fucking form is but a wreck beneath them. They have fallen apart. Their form is a representation of their deification, their godliness, and therefore their form is wrecked beneath the other gods. And there are always people I can count on. It's also easy for me. Well, those people are vessels, are they not? If we want to go all the way back to Nazareth. And again, remember, I know I do this all the time. This all could be complete bollocks. This is just an interpretation of a fantasy story, if you like, of a musical theatre production called Sleep Token. But could that be? Nah, I'll get it back. I'll sit at the kids' table for now. I'll play in the second division. I'll play in the reserves until I get all of these people that I can count on. These vessels. They're gonna tour the world. I'm telling you, they're gonna do arenas, and when they do, it's gonna be some fucking like 41-year-old Geordie on the internet, and he's gonna be talking about me a lot. I'm telling you, it's gonna fucking happen. So in that instance, no more taking chances, no more teeth to bite with, no more smiling faces. That could be again directed at the gods above them. No more taking chances. Nobody wants to take a fucking chance on me. No more teeth to bite with. Maybe the aggression, the power, and then obviously Vessel loves talking about his mouth in about like 80%. Not his mouth, just mouths in general. In about fucking 80% of Sleep Token songs. So the teeth to bite with, maybe they again like Vessel, some of the aggression, the ability to be powerful has been taken away. No more smiling faces, whether it be mine to you or the gods looking down on them. I am alone again. And for both Vessel and Sleep, that again is important. You want to talk? You want to talk it out? Because the joke's on me, and I'm laughing too. Could this be directed to the gods from Sleep themselves? You want to watch me beg? Because I beg so well. It's also easy for me. That's the most difficult verse that I have with associating it with the character of Sleep. But I can absolutely buy where this may be from the perspective of Sleep. Anyway, as always, I'm very excited to read anyone's comments below. And there we have it. Another Sleep Token video in the bag. Thank you very much, everybody who got through all the... I know, even my mum watches these videos, and once I start talking about Sleep Token, she's like, oh, I like the opening, but I'd rather zone out when you start talking about the band. Bless her. I'm fine with that, by the way. So yes, there are 4 songs left from 2019 Sundowning, or potentially 3 songs and an epilogue. Potentially. And I'm sure everybody is real excited about what I'm breaking down next time. So again, thank you so much for supporting these videos. On screen now are my members on Ko-fi. Literally, like I always say, the lifeblood of everything I do. YouTube doesn't give us any money, and that's not really why I fucking did this in the first place. I did this as a labor of love, but now I spend a lot of time researching this and a lot of time making scripting this and making these videos. So all of my members here, I'm absolutely just I couldn't be more grateful. Of course, if you become a member on Ko-fi, you get early access to the videos, you get exclusive videos, not just on music, sometimes just stuff with my life and Lauren and Artie. And of course, we're moving house in the next few weeks, so it's all going to be pretty mad then, which means, a new home, a new studio, new places to take you out on walks with Artie and all of that, and you get access to the members only Discord as well, which is a community led Discord where people are talking about art and music and Sleep Token, of course, all the time. It's a wonderful community, and we're on Twitch. We're on Twitch all the time. If you'd like to come and join, if you think, like I said, if you think this is wanky, go, you should see what we talk about on Twitch. And of course, I'm wearing my fucking there's Free Range Human Empathy's Power mugs. There's my Empathy's Power hoodie with Free Range Human on the arm. There's the Death Metal Flamingo. That's the original one up there. Nearly pointed to the wrong place. There's loads of merch as well. And I think because I take great care in both designing it myself and getting people who are incredible artists to design it, I'm really proud of it. Which is why I'm fucking wearing it, because I'm dead proud of it. So yeah, if you want to support me as well, Ko-fi is obviously the best thing to do. If you'd like to come and join us on Twitch streams, you'd like to buy some merch, all of that shit. But listen, at the end of the day, you're a free range human. Go and do what you want. I'm not your mum. And if I was, I would say maybe like and subscribe, or listen, I haven't got the bell on for anyone. I shouldn't really say I don't know how YouTube works. I do know how YouTube works, YouTube gods, and I'm very grateful for it. So yeah, so there'll be more isolated vocal videos this week as I try and play catch up with all of the songs I've already done. There are playlists, there's videos, there's fucking... if you do want to become a member on Ko-fi, there's like hundreds of hours of extra videos as well, whether it be from live streams or exclusive stuff. So yeah, so if you do want to support me, that would be amazing. But you don't have to. Do what you want, honestly. I just appreciate that you spend time watching these videos. So yeah, have a lovely week, everyone. And I will see you for some more Sleep Token coming up. I'll see you on Twitch, or if I don't, I might see you on Ko-fi. If I don't see you there, then if not, then in the words of Tim Curry, have a lovely day, and I'll see you for another video, probably. Anyway, have a nice week. Bye.